Welcome to the Diva Girl Suite. Thank you so much for joining us today. I will be featuring an interview with my sister Susie Rego Correia. However, I will not be conducting this interview. Susie has chosen a dear friend of ours, Vina Cyan. I call her an angel for specific reasons that I won't get into today, but Susie chose her for the obvious reasons you will see as the interview flows. Buckle up. I truly hope that you are empowered, inspired by the words, by the stories that Susie will be sharing. This is her side of the story, which many of you have been very anxious to hear. Many of you who have read the book, if you played in my playground, have had many questions about her side of the story. And finally, she is willing to open up her life and her heart for all of you. And this is her story, Life Inside of Me.
What was your childhood like?
I thought it was great. I was happy. It was awesome. I was a troublemaker sometimes, but I think it was great. There's things that I blocked out, so that stuff I don't really think about. Unless I actually sit and think about that, then yeah, it wasn't the greatest, behind closed doors. But in general, I thought it was awesome.
So when you were about 7 or 8 years old, what memories do you have of that time?
When I was 7, actually, I got separated from my family, so I had to go stay with my godparents. Well, I knew it was only going to be for about 1.5 years, so like things were going on at home, and my sister and I had to be taken away for temporary time, so I knew.
Tell me what was going on at home that made you feel that it was temporary, or that your sister had to be taken away?
At that time, it was actually a friend of my sister's that had stayed over overnight, and my dad had come in the room and tried to touch her while we were sleeping. So I seen the whole thing, and I kind of knew what was going on, but I kind of just pretended that I was sleeping and didn't see anything. So I knew, she was gonna go home and tell her parents, and then that's what happened.
Had that happened before?
To my sister and I, but with the friend, that was the first time I think that someone slept over and he tried to do it, but he was always kind of touchy-feely with our friends and kind of made his blindness like an excuse. But he was always my friends always were uncomfortable around my dad.
So after that incident, obviously your friend went home and told her parents?
Yeah, so she told her parents, and then her dad, or her mom, called the police, and they came to my house, and I guess that part I don't
Okay, you're making a boo-boo.
Why?
Because that's not why we were taken.
That's why I thought we were taken.
No, Mommy left, and Mommy called the cops on Daddy.
No, girl.
The children, they took us away. Yeah, and then what happened was when Daddy was arrested, when Daddy went to jail, 3 of our girlfriends came forward.
Girl, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You see that? Isn't that interesting though? That's her perspective.
See that? I didn't know that.
Remember though, she's really young.
Yeah,
and remember, she doesn't talk about it.
Because I know that girl came over, Daddy tried touching her, and then she went home, and it was like 2 weeks later she told her mom.
I remember exactly who it was, and then Shelly too, and then Christine, and 3 of them charged my dad. So 3 of our girlfriends ended up charging my dad. So basically what had happened was they went, her girlfriend came forward, and then it was a buzz. It was going around that like, my dad did this, whatever. Then 2 of the other girls came forward. But at that time, that was already when Susie was taken away. It was just happened because my mom had just left not too long ago. And my mom arrested wanted to press charges against my dad. So during the investigation, they took away, Susie had to be replaced, and I had to be, that was why, because my mom told them that my dad was abusing us. At the same time, this was when everything all at the same time. So during the investigation and the court trial, because my mom was trying to fight for us for custody, my dad ended up.
Then they said there was no females that were allowed in our house, right? So they had to take me and you out.
Yeah.
And then even when we went back home, no female could be in my house unless she was like older than 18.
Older than 18.
That was the rule when we went back home.
So while the court case was going on, and then my dad won the case and we were sent back home.
Yeah.
find it interesting though that all these years she's had a different view of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's
Very,
what
very
She
different
probably
view.
forgot. Like you
Yeah,
probably just forgot because that was right when my mom left. My mom left because of it. Because she walked in while my dad was, you know that part
no.
with the mirror.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah.
my mom left the next morning after my mom saw my dad doing something to me. She left the next morning. She never came back. When she left, she started a court case. Because Children's Aid got involved and whatever. And then we were gone for almost a year and a half,
Yeah.
almost 2 years while the court trial was going on. And then the charges with the girls were dropped.
Oh.
Yeah, all charges were. My dad didn't do no time. I don't know the details to that. I've never had a conversation with them as to how that happened. Like,
I think back then there wasn't
so different.
Yeah,
Exactly. Things
you
were
needed like now.
so many evidence,
You know,
so much
like
evidence,
back then
yeah.
you needed so much evidence. He was blind, so everyone felt sorry for him.
And we denied everything.
You know, like we
went to
denied
court
it.
and denied everything.
So even though like he, you know, the girl said that my dad did that, I didn't say that I seen anything. I was like, I was sleeping. I didn't hear anything. You know, she said she was yelling and screaming, and I was like, I was sleeping. I didn't hear anything. My sister didn't hear anything.
But then well, Children's Aid would have asked you if anything had happened
We
to
said
you
no.
at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
You
we
guys
said
said
no.
we denied
Yeah.
everything.
And even when everything came out at one point with my sister, I still denied
Still
it
denied it.
for a while. So, you know, that's, you know, it goes to show you that when you're a kid and you're innocent and you're young, even though you know wrong from right, you still, at the end of the day, when you're young and you know someone's doing wrong to you, especially if it's your parent, you're still gonna
Protect.
you're gonna block it out, and you're still gonna protect that person and deny, and you know.
So you think you're denied because you were still trying to protect them? Or you just didn't want to face the reality of what was happening?
That's a good question. I think both. I think it was trying to protect that person, and also like thinking like I was gonna get in trouble. I didn't want to get in trouble if I told, and because when everything went down and we were taken, or my dad was taken away at first, that it was devastating. So I think we were dreading like if we tell, we're all gonna be separated, and you know. So I think that was more like just had to be a secret.
When did you speak up the first time? Like what were you able to talk about, and when were you able to talk about it? Because it may have been a process.
I think I was about 12 or 13 when I actually admitted what had happened. Because before then, you know, I was asked a lot. Like, we were already in a foster home.
Were you with your sister and siblings at that time? You
No.
were still separate.
At that time, I was with my younger brother. We
Okay.
went to the same foster home for a year. And they would always ask me. And at that time, they had already known what happened with my sister.
Okay.
So they knew, like, if it happened to your sister, it must happen to you. But I denied. I almost regretted that I had told.
Okay.
Well, the initial, when I first told my foster mom, it was okay because she talked to me kind of, you know, on a normal level. And then, of course, at the time, I didn't know. She had to tell someone, and then that opened up a whole can of worms. So at that point, then I had people come over, and investigators and police, and, you know, record me telling my side of the story. At that point, I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't have told.
Okay. Did you feel sadness? Did you feel a relief?
I did feel sad. I did feel sorry for my dad,
Okay.
which was somebody on the outside looking in, which, you know, might have been like, oh my God, that's so wrong. But as a kid and going through what we did, and, you know, other than the fact that what he was doing was wrong, he was still a good father. So we knew how to, you know, that's what we knew. That's how we grew up, and that's all we knew. So he was affectionate, he was caring, he took care of us, he fed us, he did everything else you're supposed to do other than that part. So it's not like we hated him for, you know, treating us bad.
Did you know that that was happening with your sister?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How did that make you feel at that time? You
Um,
were very young.
yeah, like now it sucks. But at the time it was just what it was.
Did
It
you
was
feel
normal.
you felt that you needed to protect her? You felt that you had to protect yourself, or
I always looked up to her,
Yeah.
so it was kind of made me feel better that it was happening to both of us. But it sucked, you know.
what about your brothers at that time? Were they aware of what was happening?
Oh yeah, Yeah, it was almost like, because my mother knew, my stepmom knew, my brothers knew, my grandmother knew. So almost like in the household it was normal. We knew not to talk about it, and it was a secret, but everybody knew what was going on. So when I think back now, that was kind of weird, because usually when that happens nowadays, nobody knows. It's just the one person, and you know, whoever is getting molested or whatever, like it's just the two people that know. So in that sense, it was kind of, you know, we knew what was going on, we knew it wasn't right, but we knew not to talk about it.
You feel it would have been a bad reflection on you? Were you blaming yourself?
No, I just knew I wasn't allowed to tell anyone. That's it. So I didn't really, like, when I think back, there wasn't even times where I even thought about telling anyone. It was just, if I blocked it out and I didn't tell anyone, then it was kind of like not really happening. The years that I was in foster care, and the second foster home that I went into, I was there from 13 to 19. And in 6 years I lived with 300 girls.
Wow.
Yeah, like we literally counted 300 girls, and most of them, I'd say 98% of them went through what I went through. And so just speaking to them, like a lot of girls do carry it on their own, and they blame themselves for breaking up their family, or if I didn't tell, then my family would still be together. And like even when my sister and I opened up about everything, nobody supported us. Like I think because my dad was who he was, and he was, you know, an artist, and everybody knew him, that everybody nobody believed my sister and I, like my family, everybody cut us off. So we kind of just ended up being on our own. But at that point, I still never regretted it or blamed us. Like I knew right from wrong, and I didn't care. I didn't care what people thought. I didn't care who cut us off, or I didn't care. So I think that's important too, because if I had cared, I don't think I would have grown up to be the person I am. Yeah.
How is your relationship with your dad now?
I don't talk to him.
You don't.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you have forgiven? Is there forgiveness? Do you still hold that? Do you still hold something that you lost? I mean, do you feel that you lost something in your childhood? Some people.
Oh my God, yeah, I
go
lost a
through
lot.
that.
Now because I have kids of my own, you know, and you know, their father is amazing. Like my son's dad is amazing with him, and my two girls, their dad's amazing. And then like my father-in-law, like the relationship I have with him. So now it's like, you know, as an adult, and you know, it's like, oh my God, this is what I've been missing this whole time. But at the same time, because I was burnt, you know, with my dad, it's like I don't want anyone to fill that role. Like I'd rather not. So I still tend to have my walls up. But yeah, looking back, like looking at me as a child and looking on the outside, oh my God, I missed out on a lot. Like it's sad, like because I have two little girls now. You know, their innocence is everything, and like once that innocence is taken away, you can't go back. So that in that sense, I'm so protective. Like I want to protect them from everything.